So, you want to buy a home, but you don't know where to start. Well, don't worry. We've got you covered. We are going to break down the home buying process in 10 easy steps.
And we're starting right now.
Right now. Hi, and welcome to our new channel. I am Wolf Pierre, the Homestead Warrior.
And I'm Angel Pierre, the Bohemian Homegirl. And we're from VIP Real Estate here in colorful Colorado.
If you are interested in learning about real estate, then please be sure to hit the subscribe button below, as we'll have new videos for you every week moving forward.
So, what are the steps to the home buying process?
I don't know. What are the steps to the home buying process?
First thing you need to do is definitely identify your why.
What we mean by that is knowing exactly why you want to become a homeowner. Different people have different ideas about why. So figuring out your why is very important into the steps because it provides you with clarity on what you need to do.
Definitely makes it easier for you to stay on track and remember exactly what you're doing. So the things that you would need to do to actually really identify what are those things.
And one of the first things into identifying your why is credit score. Okay, maybe one of your why is your credit score is finally good. So now you feel like you may be ready to take that next step.
Yeah.
And another reason could be that maybe you're done with renting. I mean, you did some research and you realize that with the money that you're paying for renting, you could finally buy a house.
Emotional readiness. I think
that is big.
I have encountered clients before that really weren't ready to sell their house. They had grown up with a family in there. They had spent much time inside there. They really hadn't, they weren't ready to detach. It actually put quite a long process added to that. You really need to make sure that you're ready emotionally, mentally. Maybe you're moving for work.
Right. Or maybe you just got a promotion, and maybe it's the promotion that you've been waiting for, and finally you can become a homeowner. And for many people, the big one is family. Maybe your family is about to get bigger and you're looking for that bigger space. You're looking for a backyard because you have pets. So there's so many reasons why people choose to become homeowners. So our advice to you is do your research, do your due diligence, figure out your why, and that will help you going forward.
Number 2, get your finances right.
Get your money right.
Your credit score is a huge deal. A lot of people may not consider buying a home because they don't think that they could qualify with their credit score. Typically, I kind of aim for 620, but I know that you can go below that. I can go 580. Veterans have some advantages there, but that would always be talking to your lender for that. What about your income?
Right. Income for many people can be a deal breaker because just like your credit score, some people don't think that with their current income, they can afford to become homeowners. But you never know until you actually try. So again, do your research. If you have to, talk to somebody who's a previous homeowner, talk to your friends that are current homeowners and get their input, see what they did before. And maybe that could be the blueprint that you use to become a homeowner yourself.
Definitely. Whenever you have kind of narrowed down your debts, paying off some old stuff, and you're feeling really good about, the credit card debt that you have, maybe it's time to move on past that, and you might be able to actually move up a step and get yourself a place of your very own.
Right. And once you've identified those few things, the next thing you want to add to your repertoire is money, actual cash for down payment. Because when you're buying a house, there are fees associated with that. There are closing fees and there are other fees that the lender might, if you're lending, that is going to require you to pay. So start preparing now, start saving some money so that when the time comes, you're not going all over the place trying to scrounge up the money that you have. So it's good to prepare now so that you don't have to have too many worries later.
That's true. If you were to buy a home, definitely consider your monthly budget. How much do you pay for the place that you're currently in? Can you really afford that? Buying a home can often can be a little cheaper than renting. Rental prices keep just skyrocketing.
And you would be surprised just how affordable it is to be a homeowner just by looking at your budget and actually do some calculations here and there. We've known a few people that we've worked with in the past that they didn't think they were able to afford this home, but they wouldn't. We sat down with them and we did the calculations and they realized, I can buy a home. And, that's all they needed.
Yep, and then they did.
Yeah.
It was really easy.
Number 3, talk to a lender. I just want to say this. Not all lenders are created equal. So make sure that you talk to multiple and figure out which one works best for you. Figure out which one has your best interest at heart and which one is going to provide you with the best rate.
Right, the credit companies will actually allow you to shop around for that for a few weeks. So maybe go ahead and prep all your paperwork and just submit it all to like 3 different lenders all at the same time. That's a suggestion.
Right, and of course, when it comes to lenders, when it comes to loans, there are different types of loans out there. So from conventional to VA, FHA, figure out what you qualify for, which type of loan works best for you.
Also, something to consider is what are you approved for? Like, how much are you approved for?
Right.
Like, we would all love to say that we're approved for $1 million, but that's not always the case, right? And when you put that together with your interest rate, because interest rates they're up there a little bit since 2021. Sometimes you need to kind of sit down and consider what monthly payment. I've actually ran into a client before who he went for the monthly payment that he was approved for rather than the monthly payment that he actually wanted.
Just because you're approved for a Ferrari doesn't mean that you have to buy a Ferrari.
It's true.
Okay? Live within your Mustang means.
Step 4.
Meet with us. Meet with us. No.
Your real estate agent. It always is good to maybe interview, just like you would any job, interview 3 real estate agents. They may not match your personality. He may have a personality that is different than mine, which we have very, very opposing personalities. But
why you gotta put me on blast? In all seriousness, not all agents will have you as their number 1 priority. So make sure that whoever you end up with has you as top of mind.
The one rule that I would say to stand by over and over again is you'll go look at a house, say an open house, and you'll really like the agent there. They'll talk to you. They'll be smiling. They'll be friendly. They want to make your paycheck, right? They don't represent you. They represent that homeowner. Definitely one rule is find your own.
Yep.
Find your own.
Find somebody to represent you.
Step 5, define your wants and needs. Whenever you are working with someone else, say you're buying a home with someone else, you may not share the same interests. So I want a sauna in my next home.
And I want a wolf cave. But it is important to know what you're looking for in terms of buying a house. If you have 1,000 kids or whatever it may be, that will determine the size of the house, square footage, backyard, all the other stuff that comes along with it. And also, it'll determine where you might want to live.
Right. And also, it'll kind of determine the price range. You may not be able to afford what it is that you want, but you still have specific needs that you have to account for. So many numbers of bedroom, maybe you need a basement, maybe you don't. Again, like you said, how big is the backyard?
Right. And being able to define what you want versus what you need will narrow down the places where you are able to live based on the money that's available to you. So keep that in mind.
All right, 6. House shopping. My favorite part.
We're going house shopping. Once again, you want to keep in mind your wants versus your needs.
Maybe have that piece of paper with you, ready to look at, so that when your wife is like, oh man, I really want this hot tub, you can be like, that was a want, it's not a need. Also keep in mind, Zillow isn't the only place to look. Redfin, all of the consumer sites, they're not the only place to look. Your agent should have access to a database called the Multiple Listing Service. It's a large problem. Probably the majority of agents actually post in the MLS and have access to, I don't know, it's pretty close to 100%, not 100% of homes that are on the market.
Well, and let's be honest, most agents like to work with other agents, and that's simply because agents speak the real estate language, so they're easier to deal with than, let's say, somebody who's not. All right, you've gone shopping, you found the house that you were looking for, and now it is time to make an offer. So let's make an offer.
All right, you're going to need to gather a few different things. Your lender letter is going to actually have to be ready to go. Probably make sure that you have your earnest money available. We will discuss that more in a later video. Earnest money is really important, and it's due about 3 days after an offer is accepted.
Your agent, though, should help you with submitting that offer.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, your agent speaks the real estate language, and your agent will be the one that's doing all the negotiating on your behalf.
So what happens when an offer is countered?
So when an offer is countered, it's actually a good thing because it means that you weren't rejected. Okay, because a rejection, usually you don't even get a notification. Okay, you make your offer and 5 days pass by, you just hear crickets. At least with a counter offer, there's a chance. So when you get a counter offer, you read the contents of it. Of course, you talk to your agent and figure out how to best approach the situation. And then once you've identified what you need to do to help you get the house on the contract, you have your agent submit their counter. And once that's accepted, then everybody's good to go and you're now on the contract.
And then if your offer is accepted, move on to the next stage. 8 stages of the contract for buyers.
Once you are under contract.
Right. All right. So we were talking about that earnest money a few moments ago. Earnest money is typically about 1% of the price that you offered. Okay. So if it is a $500,000 house, you're looking at $5,000. Okay. And that's common. Okay. But can earnest money be just cash?
No, actually. There was one buyer that put up their Mercedes as earnest money just to sweeten the pot. So it goes to show you that earnest money doesn't have to be cash. It has to be something that you, as the buyer, and the seller agree upon. While your lender is busy with processing your loan application, the title company is going to be getting busy as well, providing you all the documents that are relating to that home. And it is your job to review those documents and make sure that when you do indeed end up with this house, that it is free and clear of all liens and encumbrances. But you want to make sure that when you buy this house, that it is yours and yours alone.
Also, the homeowners association documents are going to come in. I actually had a client once that had 3, 4, 5 dogs. They needed to make sure that the HOA was going to accept those animals. So if there's anything that you're looking for, in the community, you're going to need to make sure that you look at those documents. Maybe you're not allowed to plant a tree in the front yard. Maybe your fences can only be so high. There's a lot of restrictions there. So reviewing that, it's really important.
Right. In addition to title documents and HOA documents, some other documents you need to be on the lookout for are sellers' documents themselves, and those include seller's property disclosures, lead-based payment disclosures, and some others. And it is your job to review those documents and make sure that there are no issues with them before going forward. Because once you do, I do believe they become your problem.
With the exception of inspection.
Yeah.
So if the inspector comes in and they identify some issues, you are actually able to object to some of those issues. Say there's a hole in the roof. What would you do about a hole in the roof?
You negotiate with the seller and you tell them, if you want to buy this house, then give me a new roof.
Yeah, you're going to need to fix the roof.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Say you are buying land. It is advisable, no matter what you do, if you are buying land, to get that land either surveyed or get the history of the land, a document called an ILC. Surveys take a lot longer to do than ILCs, but then you want to look at homeowners insurance.
Yeah, with homeowners insurance, if you are borrowing money from a lender, you are going to be required to have homeowners insurance. That is not for your benefit, it is for the lender. But you get to choose the insurance company. So I would say to you, find different homeowner insurance agencies, get their quotes, and figure out which one is going to work best for you.
Right. One of the next steps that's going to be hit is the bank is going to submit to an appraisal. The appraisal is just to figure out the actual value of the home. And the bank will not lend on more than that. Okay, so if you've offered $550,000 and the appraisal comes back at $500,000, the bank will only lend on $500,000. Right. So at that point, you're going to have to negotiate further with the seller a little over a week before, closing dates. So you make it through all the rest of this. The bank is going to need to finalize your approval. They're going to need to finalize the loan. Okay.
And while that is happening, you have the opportunity to do what's called a final home walkthrough.
Right.
So usually the way that works is after the inspection comes back, let's say there were things that needed to be fixed and those things were fixed. The final walkthrough is to help you ensure that those inspection items that needed to be done got done.
I would always advise to do that final walkthrough. And then again, of course, once you buy the home, definitely do your walkthrough again. Before the closing, the title company is going to go ahead and send you your closing documents to review before you sit down at closing. When you sit down at closing, they will go over everything, but you're going to want to review those documents. Just make sure that you've got everything covered and that everything is in there. All right. Closing day. Oh, goodness.
It is closing day. You've reviewed all the documents with your lawyer or whoever else you needed to. And now it is time. Okay. You reviewed the documents so you know whether or not you will need to bring money to the table.
Now you're going to get one big stack, okay, of paperwork, and they're going to go over all of it together and they're going to review everything with you. But the actual process is you actually have to close on your loan before you close on the house. And again, all that paperwork is together. You won't really identify the difference, but you have to close on both. You have to buy the loan and then you have to buy the house, right?
Yeah. And once that's done, you're pretty much at the finish line because all that's left now is
To get the keys.
to get the keys.
And again, as I said earlier, do another walkthrough
Yep.
because that
People are thieves. That's why.
Well,
People are thieves.
well, make sure that if you negotiated the $5,000 chandelier in the dining room, that it's still there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure that you actually got what you paid for. Make sure that everything is still there. Number 10, final. They're all moving day. We have nothing to do. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're able, pack your own boxes because nobody cares about it more than you do. So,
right. You want to make sure that it gets taken care of and that everything is packed pristinely. If something gets broken, you don't have anybody to blame and you can't really get mad and you just got to replace it.
so there you have it, folks.
If you like this video and you want more information, be sure to check below for the link to our free downloadable home buyer's guide.
We will be posting new videos every week, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe.
Thank you for watching.